What is going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game online deck tech. Today we're taking a look at Greninja EX, but it's not with the usual partner that you would think it with. You've seen Greninja with Frostlass before, but now I believe the deck is actually good thanks to the brand new Dusknoir line that came out in Shrouded Fable. I'm going to take a little bit more time in the intro today to actually explain the deck, explain the card choices, some matchups, and that kind of thing. You guys liked it in my Regidrago video, so I'm going to try it again today, so let me know what you think. So obviously Greninja EX is a decent card in itself. It's got two really strong attacks. Shinobi Blade does 170 for 1 water, and you can search your deck for any card you want, put it into your hand, and Mirage Barrage for a water and 2 colorless does 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. This can be bench Pokemon as well, but you must discard 2 energy in order to use the attack. So thankfully, because of the attack cost, we can use it with cards like Double Turbo Energy. Now you're probably wondering, how does this whole deck kind of fit together? Well, we're using the Pidgeot line in Quick Search in order to search for any card and pull off these big crazy combos. Now the whole reason that this deck works is because you can use Dusclops and Dusknoir to set up damage, but most importantly, you can use it to take out Manaphy. So even though you're trading 1-for-1 in decks like Charizard, Gardevoir, that kind of thing, because you can Cursed Blast and take out their Manaphy, you can then use Mirage Barrage to get the additional 2 prizes and get way ahead in the game. Couple this with something like our ace spec of choice, which is the Unfair Stamp, and if your opponent takes a knockout, your general game plan is going to be Unfair Stamp, and then you go Dusknoir KO, Manaphy, Mirage Barrage KO, 2 Ralts, or 2 Charmander, or 2 Pidgey, or whatever, 2 Dreepy, whatever your opponent's like main attacker or main engine is, depending on how their board is set up. And then from there, they're going to have another card because of the Unfair Stamp, or sorry, because of the prize card they get after the Unfair Stamp, after the Dusknoir KO, but you're gonna have basically 3 cards plus draw for turn to work with, and you're gonna already be taking 3 prizes, and you can really do this as soon as turn 2 or 3. Usually turn 3 you're hitting this combo, but against decks like Gardevoir, they're slower anyways, and you can use other cards like TM Devo to slow them down, or you can take the more aggressive route and use the Shinobi Blade attack to further advance your combos. You know, decks like Lost Zone aren't going to be playing many hand disruption tools, so you can Shinobi Blade a couple times, get set up, and then just go for a big Dusknoir combo at the end of the game and take 3 prizes and just kind of win. So Greninja has a lot of options right now thanks to this brand new Dusknoir combo. You can also use it to power up your counter catcher, so you can use like a counter catcher Unfair Stamp combo, and that's really kind of your general game plan against Charizard, against Dragapult, against Gardevoir. Like, as those are the 3 main evolution decks, you're literally aiming to just go for Dusknoir KO on the Manaphy, and then Mirage Barrage take out their main threats to your board if that's an attacker or an engine, and then you're good to go. You are super duper set and ready. So that is basically the plan. But what about decks like Raging Bolt or Lugia? These decks can give Greninja a bit of a run for its money. Thankfully, Lugia is actually pretty easy because you can just Mirage Barrage plus double Dusclops their Archeops. Now that is a bit dangerous of a plan, I won't lie. That plan's a little bit dangerous because Dusclops and Mirage Barrage, you're still going to be trading 2 for 2 with them, so if they've already set up their board, then you can be in a bit of a pickle. But however, we do play a copy of Professor Turo's Scenario in this deck, so if they only have a Lugia powered up and the Lugia hits into you, you can Turo up that Greninja, hit them with a new Greninja, and then you are basically trading even. They're not going to be able to establish another attacker very easily, like no Minchinos or Cinchinos can be a threat to you, and because of that Turo, you're going to be able to re-advance into that prize trade. So that's kind of your general plan, is you want to get rid of both those chops as quickly as possible, and then you can Turo up a damaged Greninja, put a fresh one back, and you should literally just win the game off of that. They should be able to not do anything to you because they can't power up any attackers. But what about decks like Raging Bolt? Raging Bolt is going to be this deck's, I think, worst matchup. Raging Bolt and Regidrago are kind of in the same boat on that one. But basically, for the Raging Bolt matchup, the way the math works out is you can use Dusclops plus the Defiance Band. Where is it? Plus the Defiance Band, there we are. You can use that to be able to KO a Raging Bolt in 1 hit, and you can, you're gonna aim for Unfair Stamp, Dusclops, big combos there. You can also swing into a Raging Bolt, and then the next turn, if they don't KO you, or even if they do KO you, you go for another Greninja play, but you use Rare Candy, Dusclops, or Dusknoir on the active Raging Bolt, then you counter catcher, Defiance Band, an Ogerpon, or you counter catcher, what's it called? Counter catcher Dusclops and Ogerpon, and, you know, Unfair Stamp. So basically with Raging Bolt, yeah, I know that was a little bit of a tough explanation, but basically what you're going to be wanting to do is you're going to want to use your Dusclops to enable your counter catcher, and then just go for a massive play where you can take 4 prizes in a turn by going like Defiance Band against the Squawkabilly counter catcher, Unfair Stamp plus Dusclops KO or Raging Bolt. And then you take 4 prizes. From there, they shouldn't really have a huge board setup, and you can kind of just sweep the game from there. That's kind of your general plan against Raging Bolt. And now, Regidrago is a little bit more challenging. However, because they're starting to play less and less one-hit KO options, you can go for just a Greninja play and then Turo up your Greninja and then go for something like a Mirage Barrage plus Dusknoir combo, so you can KO a Regidrago V on the bench and the active Regidrago V Star. That's a possibility combined with Defiance Band. There's a lot of like long lines you need to take where you need to get kind of like a 3 or 4 card combo, but because of Greninja EX's first attack, getting that combo is pretty easy, and you should be able to combine it with Pidgeot, combine that with Rotom V Sealstone that we have in here, to be able to pull off these combos really simply. Miraidon is a very free matchup, and same thing, the new Iron Thorns deck has been gaining some steam once again. Even though I think that deck is trash, you can very easily defeat it. If you're getting frustrated with it, you can use Greninja EX very well. Another deck that Greninja is great against is Blocklax. Blocklax has been making a bit of a comeback, so you can use Greninja to instantly KO a bunch of Blocklax and then search for whatever card you need immediately next turn, whether they're going to try and trap something or whether they're going to try and use an Erica. You can find some other cards to kind of combat that, and you also have the Dusknoir line, which is really good into the Snorlax matchup because it makes them take prizes. So if you're falling a little bit behind, you can just KO a Dusknoir and then force them to take a prize and go for a counter catcher play on their Rotom, and you can re-advance the game that way. So that's pretty much the general profile of Greninja EX right now. I think the deck is really strong. It's a lot of fun to play, and I'm very excited to show you today kind of how you're going to pull off these combos and how you're going to take games right from under the rug of your opponent. They're not going to know what hit them, so we're just going to hop in and get some dubs with Greninja EX. Just wanted to give a quick thank you to the lovely sponsors of the Hitmonchanting channel. If you need codes, you know where to go. Head over to ptcglstore.com and use code Hitmon to get 5% off your order. And be sure to check out Pokemon.gg, the best Pokemon card tracker and deck builder there is. Join Pokemon.gg by clicking the link below and use code Hitmon to get a free month of pro membership. Hitmonchanting playmats are finally here. Head on over to hitmonchanting.com to pick yours up today. Thank you to my sponsors for supporting the channel, and thanks to you for supporting me too. And now, let's get right back into the video. It's called Coin Flip of this lovely game, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that Tails never fails, and it never does. So we're gonna choose to go second here. I saw on the little intro screen my opponent has Raging Bolt and Ogerpon, deck box and sleeves, so maybe that's what they're playing. I doubt they'll know what we are playing, but we'll see. They might be like, oh yeah, that's obviously Greninja, the double turbo and water gives that away, which is also possible. So we'll just see what exactly the case is here. We'll see what we're up against. Again, this is one of our more challenging matchups, so I hope and I pray that we'll be able to power through it. Just one mulligan, and a hand that's meh, but could be good as long as we have Rotom in the deck. So we'll see what we have to do here. If we have to get rid of Roxanne, that might suck just a little bit. It's Lugia. Okay, they bamboozled me. They do start with a Lugia here, and we can potentially have a pretty good time. We'll see what exactly they do. If it's just an attached pass angle, but they do have Carmine. Carmine double chops, we might be cooked. We might be cooked, cannot lie, but that's all they're going to have going on right there. We get a Froakie off the top, which is pretty solid, so I'm kind of fine getting rid of Roxanne, getting rid of... Ultra Ball feels a little bit bad. We do have Rotom, thankfully, so Rotom can help us just establish this our huge board that we so crave. Well, Rotom. Now, we could get an Iono. Iono could be the better play here. It truthfully could. Or Irida might actually be the better play to save the Arvens. We only have 2 rare candies in the deck, which is not good. But this is a fine. I think Irida is actually a better call. We can just get more Pokemon with Irida because we can get second Froakie and then we can use Buddy-Buddy. And then this plus Instant Charge will enable us to, we can do Duskull Pidgey and then we can go super wide and instant charge. Now I'm hoping that they don't just have the V-Star in hand. Again, this hand is not great, but Shinobi Blade can help us kind of get to that next point. We'll see what they have here. They do just have the V-Star. This Lugia is running hot, hot, hot. Yeah, this Lugia is going crazy this game. So we'll see what they get. We'll see what they do here. If they have a, you know, supporter to play and whatnot. But I'm also kind of content if we find an Arven, just unfair stamping them into Oblivion and then just attaching an energy or whatever. But it's just Tempest Dive on the Duskull, and that's a-okay with me. They didn't get a Minccino or anything threatening down, so I'm comfortable just going into a Greninja play and going from there. We get Manaphy, which is the opposite of helpful. But we'll evolve into Greninja EX. I think I'll save the Nest Ball, and I'll just Shinobi Blade here. Shinobi Blade will get me any card I want. And now they could boss Rotom, in which case Unfair Stamp could be good, but if they don't boss Rotom, then I'm thinking Iono is just probably the play anyways here. Just so we can see more cards. Yeah, I'm liking the Iono, so we'll just grab the Iono. We should get the 2 prizes next turn, but we'll see again what they find. Could be good, could be bad. We'll just have to wait and see. Another play that we can make potentially is we go for a Dusclops plus Mirage Barrage that we can Dusclops later on. That's really risky though, because they've already taken 1 prize. That's 5 total prizes with double Dusclops and a Greninja EX going down. That's really, really risky. But it would like kind of ignore their gift energy. So that is a possibility. If they don't put gifts on the Archeops, we can do that, ignore their gift, and then if they can't do anything, we Shinobi Blade them and kind of hope they don't have attackers on the board. They're just passing. That's weird. But you know what? I don't mind. I'll evolve into the Dusclops here, and I'll just go for an Iono. Put that massive hand down a little bit, and now we'll see what we get, obviously. Frogadier is very good. Can evolve to that. Defiance Band can be good later on, but we'll attach to Mr. Froggy. And just a Shinobi Blade, I think, is fine. I would have liked to get something else going, but you know what? That's just a-okay with me. I'll grab the Rare Candy so I can get a Pidgeot next turn. And we also get 2 prizes, so easy stuff to discard off the Ultra Ball. We'll see what happens. Things can get tough. Surprised they didn't swing there, but getting a Rare Candy off the prizes does mean that we can pretty easily establish the Rare Candy Pidgeot play. Obviously, here comes a Capturing Aroma. Maybe they just ran away and were AFK for a second, who knows. Or maybe it was all part of their genius plan to not put damage on my Greninja somehow. Even though I don't think it really would have mattered a whole lot. Here comes another Archeops, and a Great Ball will enable them to find themselves a Pokemon off the top 7 cards of the deck. And those top 7 cards can be anything that would really be helpful to them right now, I think, is establishing some Mincinos, if that's the version they're playing. Not really able to tell based on what's in their discard pile. So we'll have to just see what they do. If they get Minccino, they're getting Blood Moon, which, if you put that into play, I think is a terrible idea because it's a very easy one-shot. Luminion's also great for us because they're going to get Boss. Don't know what they're going to do. Boss the Dusclops or boss the Pidgey? Please boss the Pidgey. By all means, yeah. Boss that Pidgey. Boss that Pidgey. Oh, and they're going to Aqua Return. Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. And they get another Lugia down. But yeah, I can see this Aqua Return. Okay. Now I'm kind of sad they bossed the Pidgey. But we have options here. Jamming Tower does put a little bit of a pain in my side because we can't use the Defiance Band to offset this damage, the damage reduction, and KO that Lugia. So that actually is a little bit frustrating, but there's going to be no gift energy trigger, and an Iono to 4 can help us out a little bit. So we'll see what we can do. It's definitely going to be a Greninja lead, no doubt about that. Double Rare Candy ain't going to do much for us right now. throw this Rare Candy, or this Pidgey down, throw this Greninja here. I think I can, do I Ultra Ball for the Dusclops here, or Dusknoir? I think I should just wait. I'll attach the Defiance Band, just in case we find a Stadium Bump and we can get rid of this Lugia. And then I'll Iono. Because if we can find that Stadium Bump and get rid of the Lugia, like with a Collapse or something, then we should be in the good graces. Now we get a Double Turbo. Double Turbo can be interesting. It can get rid of an Archeops, potentially. Not trigger a gift, but then they can swing into us. So I might be more content going with a Shinobi Blade and getting a further setup going. I think that's fine. We'll throw a Double Turbo over here and we'll just Shinobi Blade them. And yeah, I'm okay with that. I will search for a card, and I do think potentially Arven can be the one. Or I'll just get Rare Candy. No, maybe Arven's better, because Arven can get us a little bit more stuff, a little more versatile. Or no, just Rare Candy, because Rare Candy can get me Pidgeot, and then from there I can get like Unfair Stamp without using a supporter. So I think the Candy's good. They got 5 cards. They need to find a boss, which they can find, to be fair. They can find the boss and they can knock out the Pidgey pretty easily. They can use Arrow Dive. It doesn't need to be anything extravagant. But then we can go for a Dusclops Mirage Barrage play. And that might be the ticket for us. We can take a 3-prize turn that way with the Lugia. There's a Minccino finally, so I'm not afraid to Mirage Barrage that. Another good reason to actually save that card or that play and not do it is if they don't have a bunch of Mincinos in play, you can actually pretty easily just take it out and remove their immediate threat from the board. Yeah, we can Barrage that. And the Archeops, yeah, I was going to say, they're going to power up the Lugia. We'll see. They can't have a boss, so they'll probably just Arrow Dive here. And an Arrow Dive is fine for us, because we're going to take 3 prizes this turn to remove all threats from the board, and they shouldn't be able to do anything of substance. Boss could be fine here, but again, it doesn't really matter. Arven can grab us Rare Candy, though, which is pretty sweet. We can get Rare Candy and Devo. And we can Rare Candy Pidgeot, so we got a really solid board established here. Definitely, I would like to dunk this Lost City, so we're doing more Shinobi Blade, but it doesn't really matter, because that just offsets that. And we do 120 to an Archeops, because we don't have double Dusclops down. So I think it's definitely going to be a Mirage Barrage angle, right? Like, it has to be a Mirage Barrage angle. From here, we can just go ahead and Night Stretcher, and that can get us our other Duskull. So we'll do that. And, oh, we might need to use Dusclops here. We might need to use Dusclops. No, actually, we do need to use Dusclops. But then Mirage Barrage is going to be doing 100 minus 30. It's going to be doing 70, but that's 100 after the Jamming Tower boost. So this guy gets retreated for sure. Oh, but we can't Mirage Barrage. I see. Can't boss here. Might have to still be... No, we need to Dusclops. I think I misplayed that a little bit, I think. I should have gotten another double turbo, because now Mirage Barrage would be doing 100 minus 30. That's 70. That's not enough to KO the Lugia. So we need to do this. Dusclops gets knocked out. And then we can go ahead and Mirage Barrage them. That's the play. They get a prize. That's fine. We Mirage Barrage. They can take stuff off gift, but they shouldn't be able to really do anything major here. Because we could just do this, and then take out the Minccino plus the Lugia. Take a nice 3-prize turn, we go down to 1 prize card remaining, and then we should be fine. I'm not going to be concerned about that, because they can throw a Blood Moon at us, and they can KO that Greninja on the bench, but it's not going to do anything. So here's our Collapse. We got a bunch of good stuff here. They can't even go for a potential Iron Hands on this Greninja EX. They won't even make it to those numbers. Not that they even have the energy to be thrown around like that, but that's something to keep in mind. And now here, Shinobi Blade will be able to clean the game up for us. We can just get, our last Dusclops. And Dusclops, ping an Archeops, Shinobi Blade, and we're good to go. Because of the resistance, which is another reason why this matchup is really tough, Shinobi Blade is actually whiffing knockouts on Archeops, so you do need a damage mod, which is pretty annoying. And Defiance Band is out of commission for us right now. They are going to grab Lumineon. I can see Lumineon Iono to 1 being the play here. I can also see the Lumineon, what's it called? Like Lumineon. Oh, what am I thinking of? I can see it being a Lumineon Iono or Aqua Return. That's what I'm saying. Lumineon, Aqua Return, Iono kind of play. That can make sense to me, but we just have Pidgeot, so it really doesn't matter. Again, there's nothing they can throw down here that'll work to really do anything. Like, you put Blood Moon in play. That's the good thing about Greninja is you just one-shot Blood Moon instantly. You can knock my Greninja out, that's fine. But if you put the Blood Moon down, then I don't care. That's the kicker, is I do not care. You take 2, I'm just gonna take 1, and then you're screwed. So yeah, that is the game. We're doing that nice 340 damage with Greninja EX. Boom. Goodbye to this Lugia player. And we don't need to search a deck for a card. We're just going to take that dub there. That is very nice to see. You gotta love a dub with the good old Greninja. You gotta love it. We get to call the coin flip. I'm going to call Tails Never Fails, because that is what I always say. So we're going to flip that coin, and it's going to be Tails. And we're going to choose to go second. Obviously, going second helps you get a good setup. But the real, I think, benefit to it in this deck is letting your opponent get a KO, and then you can just go for an insane play. I mean, this hand is a great hand for going second. If we can go for a Nest Ball for a Seal Stone. For a Seal Stone can grab us a Buddy-Buddy Poffin. Nest Ball can grab us Rotom. That we can fill our board that way. That's kind of going to be, I think, what our main goal is. But we're going to see what we are up against. There's been a new version of Miraidon that I've been seeing a lot while testing these decks that plays the Dusknoir line itself, so it can reach high numbers. So that's important to look out for. But we are going to be playing against a Dragapult deck. So we're going to see kind of how their setup is right now. If they're playing the Pidgeot version with the Charizard, without the Charizard, if it's Xatu, all a bunch of different key factors. It is the Natu version, or Xatu version, I should say. So realistically, they won't be getting a turn to Dragapult, but it's possible with the Rotom here. And it doesn't matter if they attach or not, they're just going to instant charge. They can get that turn to Dragapult, which could be a bit scary. So we're going to see what we can do here. We're just going to have to start with the Arven. I'll Nest Ball Force Seal. I hope we have Rotom in here. We do. So that'll be good. So at least we can fill our board up a little bit and then extend for next turn. So we'll grab the Rotom. We're going to have the same setup basically that they do. We aren't going to get a Pidgey this turn. I think that's going to be a little bit scary, but it is a necessary evil, I think, right now. We need to get double Greninja down, or double Froakie down, I should say. Because if, for example, they just boss the Froakie, we're screwed. They have an 8-card hand, so it is a very big possibility. So we'll attach to a Froakie, and we'll just instant charge here. That's all we can do. We can get a couple rare candies, the Unfair Stamp. This is a great hand. Really, really good for going next turn. And if they don't knock out this Duskull, if they're having a little bit of an issue getting to that Dragapult, because they're evolving right into the Dracloak, so they might not actually be able to get it this turn, then we can literally just go for a Rare Candy Dusknoir, Arven, Rare Candy, blah, 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 do our thing. And then we can hopefully just take out all of their threats on the board immediately. And then if there's nothing that they can do, we'll just win the game. So I'm about to show you exactly how powerful this is. They have double Dracloak. Even if they play the 3 Dreepy and they don't get a Manaphy down, they're kind of cooked, which is really, really good for us. Now, the only issue here, no Pidgeot, so it might be a little bit challenging to find ourselves the what's his name? To find ourselves a double Turbo. We've used our Force Seal Stone. We don't have a whole lot of I want to say wiggle room with the Arven, with our supporters and stuff in hand. So this might be a bit of a challenge. Here's an Arven coming from our opponent, which is going to grab them a Earthen Vessel and a TM Evo. So this play is not going to be as good, obviously, now. But I still think we can, depending what we draw, we can go for the Rare Candy Dusknoir play, or we literally just go right into a Greninja. And I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind just going, like, retreating the Duskull, evolving it, going into Greninja, and just swinging. I think that's actually a decent shout as well. They are getting the Manaphy, so the chances we pull off this play are, like, very slim. Or we can just Rare Candy KO this Dracloak here. That's also a possibility that I don't mind. That will give us the free switch. We get another Froakie, which is good. We'll have to see. I'm kind of debating what we want to do here. I think that is a good play, but we don't have the exact like combination to pull off that plus a Greninja attack. So I am thinking maybe what we do here is we go for a Arven. Arven can grab us a Defiance Band, which will be fine for later, and we could also grab us the Ultra Ball. And now this is a bit of a risk going off on the offensive like this because they can KO the Duskull very easily. But maybe, you know what? Maybe I think what we do, we'll get the Buddy-Buddy Poffin. We'll reset up the board, I think. We'll go Rare Candy Dusknoir, take out their Dracloak threat. I quite like this idea. We'll take out the Dracloak. And then we'll set up our board once more, go for an instant charge as well. I should have saved the Arven in case I draw something, because I think I'm going to regret it now. I'm going to draw like a Rare Candy or something and be able to use the plan. I think I misplayed a lot there. We'll see. Hopefully I don't draw something that's going to make me cry. It's just a water energy. Okay, it doesn't make me cry. And then from here, I think we just lead with the Froakie. We can Buddy-Buddy Poffin, grab us Pidgey and Duskull. Then we'll go ahead and we'll bench another Froakie. It's probably fine right now. We'll evolve into Frogadier over here. We can attach to the benched Froakie, I think. I mean, we could attach... Now, they're most likely getting a KO over here. But just in case, I'll attach to the active because I can't KO both of these guys. And then we'll just instant charge again. So they might unfair stamp us, but usually this deck is going to be playing the Scoop Up Cyclone from what I've seen. So I'm not really that worried. They're going to need to find Rare Candy Dragapult, Xatu plus attach, which is possible. They got a 10-card hand. They got a lot of cards to draw before they even use a supporter. So again, it's possible. I'm not going to doubt them necessarily, but we're going to have to kind of see what we have to work with here. Again, we're probably gonna have to take this a little bit slower. We'll have to go for an Ultra Ball plus a just retreat this Froakie and then swing. And then that I think will allow us to build up the Pidgeot unless we top deck an Arven or something like that. That I think is a good option as well. They are playing their own Duskull, so I am not really worried this turn that we're gonna get KO'd here. Again, they might play an Unfair Stamp, and Unfair Stamp can really change how good this hand is very quickly, but it doesn't seem like they have a whole lot. They might be instant charging again. There's a Temple of Sinnoh, which could be a nuisance to us. I definitely can see that happening, but potentially they might just have... Okay, they have the Dragapult, so they might be going for a Rare Candy Dragapult over here. They do have it. Okay, that's good for them. I'm curious if they have a rescue board for a retreat here. They have a switch. Okay, so they were able to get their full kind of shebang going on. Very good for them. Very nice. I can definitely see this Phantom Dive is going to hurt a little bit. Because I think our Pidgey's probably going to get knocked out. But we do have the Unfair Stamp, and that Unfair Stamp is really strong in this deck because what it enables us to do is their draw engine is very, very weak. So we can potentially like Unfair Stamp plus Rare Candy Dusknoir KO a Dracloak or the Xatu or even the Dragapult we can actually KO, and that'll make things I think a lot harder for them to deal with. So we'll kind of see what we can make happen here. We get Iono, which I don't necessarily want to use right now. Yeah, I don't want to use the Iono. I think that I'll Ultra Ball away this, and all these supporters are good to have. I do think the Unfair Stamp is better in this case, for sure. I think I unfortunately have to get rid of the Iono, but we'll always find it later, so I'm not super worried. It's gonna have to be a no Pidgeot kind of game, which is okay. We can reestablish a setup here. And I will Defiance Band this Greninja, I think, just so we can potentially Duskull KO it later on. Alternatively, we can boss here, but I'm not sure it's worth it. I think just the big swing is a little more worth it here. And I don't really need to play the Rod right now, so I will just Unfair Stamp them. And Unfair Stamp hopefully is going to find me a Ultra Ball is perfect. Arven is also pretty good here. I think I'd rather just... Do I want to go for the Irida? No, I'll go for the Arven because I know I have the Devo. And we want to make sure we have a Dusclops. I could have gone for Irida, gotten the Manaphy to discard it. That would have worked too. The Devo I don't think is going to be very good in this matchup anymore. So I'll just use that. And I have the Ultra Ball. I can use Counter Catcher, and Counter Catcher can enable me to KO the Rotom. That's not a bad plan either. I don't actually mind KOing the Rotom here, but we need a little bit more happening. So maybe I'll just grab a Rare Candy for later on. I think that's serviceable. I think that's a fine solution. We can attach this over here. Go ahead and Ultra Ball and get rid of these two, and that can get us the Dusclops here. So I just want to make sure it's not going to get KO'd by the Phantom Dive. We don't really have a risk of that. Now we'll Shinobi Blade. Shinobi Blade can hit them where it hurts. And I will search my deck, and I think I'm going to opt to find a Dusknoir. Seems pretty good. Greninja also seems pretty strong here. Roxanne actually seems even better. I actually do like the idea of having a Roxanne. And then that way, because my goal I think is going to be to stop them from establishing another Dragapult, but it might be a little bit challenging. Turo, no, Turo is the play. Turo is definitely the play here. I can Turo up this Greninja, and that I think will make me happy and smile. So that is my game plan. Again, they can always KO the Rotom here. If they find a boss, there is not going to be a Counter Catcher active for a while, but if they just find boss here, things might be tough. Again, as long as they have that energy, their draw engine can ramp back up to be pretty strong. So we'll see what exactly they do. If they find the Scoop Up Cyclone, if that's the ace spec they end up playing, then we might be in a little bit of trouble. But we'll have to see what they get. Recon Directive, that kind of thing is going to be happening here. So I'm hoping they don't find the boss. If they don't find boss, what I'm thinking the play is going to be is we're going to Turo this Greninja, place down, Rare Candy Greninja once more, put the Froakie back, that kind of thing. And then we'll go ahead and we can either pop the Dusclops, or if they just swing, we Turo and swing back into them, I think is a fine play. They could pop their Dusclops as well, and then use Dragapult to KO our Froakie. That's a possibility here, and I don't like that possibility. That's going to be pretty painful, I think. But... well, nevertheless, we'll have to kind of figure out what they do. Another ace spec they could be playing is Neo Upper Energy. If Neo Upper Energy is their ace spec of choice, not really doing a whole lot right now. But if they just swing with a Phantom Dive, I'm hoping that we're going to be okay. Again, always depends on what we find here off the top of the deck. If it is like a Dusknoir magically, then we're going to be okay. They do have the boss's orders. That is really, really bad. The boss is really terrible. Because basically what that's going to mean is we have to Turo up whatever is on the bench, and that means we can't use Dusclops anymore. So that makes our life a lot more challenging, but they're opting for the Greninja. Now, if they have Radiant Charizard in the deck, then we're just going to get Radiant Charizarded, and things are not going to go our way. So I might need to Turo up that Greninja here. I think that's the play. I think we got to Turo the Greninja. Collapse Stadium is decent, but right now, yeah, it's just a Turo on the Greninja here. Because we can't afford to get Radiant Zarded. We'll literally just lose if that's the case. And now here we need two Shinobi Blades, so that will be the KO. And search my deck for a card. I will. I think Roxanne, but it might be too little too late now with Roxanne. This is challenging, and when they're able to take that multi-KO and we can't, like, they can keep our Pidgey off the board, things get a little bit tricky. Yeah, like, if they're able to establish another Dragapult here, you're probably just done, right? So, that's a little bit of a challenge when they're able to pull that off. And if they can find it, I'm sure they have it in their hand if they're literally just going Recon Directive here. They are some energy down. There's a Nest Ball, could be a Radiant Charizard angle. Because I definitely foresaw... Oh, they have Pheasantipity, okay. Yeah, Pheasantipity will help them a little bit. Another card that we can one-hit KO, but at this point I think it's too little too late. We're on odd prizes. There's no way for us to take the KOs without popping the Dusclops. There's the Fire Energy. Do you have that evolution? They do. Yeah, this game is basically just over. There's nothing we can really do about it. One line that we have, potentially, is we Roxanne, plus we... Oh, they just have the Dusknoir anyway. Okay, yeah, they're chilling. They don't even need to attack. They got it going. So yeah, GG from my opponent. That was tough for us because we couldn't get that Pidgey down turn 1. It was kept off the board, and our draws weren't 100% great. But I think it still showed the potential of Greninja if you kind of pull off your combos. Unfortunately, we didn't pull off our combos, and that really is what hurt us today. So what did you think of my Greninja EX Dusknoir deck? This deck is really, really cool. It's a ton of fun to play, and I think you should give it a shot. You really do have a strong, strong chance against a ton of the meta decks right now. I think the deck list can be a little inconsistent, just a smidge, but I think it's inconsistent in the way that you're kind of missing a piece sometimes. Which, when you have a deck that's really trying to do so much, and you prize like your 4 Seal Stone, or you prize like 2 Rare Candy, for example, those kinds of things can still really be hard to chain together combos, but it's hard in the way that it's tough for Charizard to get going when you prize a 4 Seal Stone or you prize 2 Rare Candy. So, important to keep that stuff in mind. I will say for some changes to the deck does only play a single boss and a single counter catcher. You kind of do want a little bit more gust in here. I feel like sometimes that double boss can be really good because you have the potential to just go right ahead and like steamroll your opponent if you're being very aggressive after an unfair stamp. I also find that something that you may like for this deck is a Pal Pad. I was considering cutting Lost City for it, but Lost City is very, very good against, you know, a lot of decks like Charizard, like Gardevoir, that kind of thing. Lost City can be very strong against those, but it's one of those cards where it feels like it's a win more card. And what I mean when I say that is you find that Lost City, you're really not getting those, you know, plays where you can Lost City something effectively that early on unless your opponent completely bricks or you just have like the absolute craziest triple Rare Candy, triple evolution without using quick search kind of deal types of hands. So that isn't really, I'm not sure how good it is. Let's just say that. I'm not sure how good it is. So I could consider cutting this for a Pal Pad because then you can get second Turo, you can get second boss, and that will make things a lot easier for this deck. But with all that said and done, thank you so much for watching. Like this video if you enjoyed it and comment down below what do you think of this deck. Subscribe to Hitmonchanting channel. I'm posting multiple Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. And once again, with all that said and done, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, Hitmonchanting out.